What is up, everyone? Today is my birthday, so I'm making sure to work as little as possible today. So since I'm barely working, I had some time to make a video. So that today I talked a little bit about building your vertical jump to make you less sucky at sports, specifically basketball, and other sports where a vertical is very, very important. So there are a few key points we're going to go over. First one's absolute strength. You can think, 1 rep max in a squat or whatever. Next one is reactive strength, which I'll go over. And then explosive strength. And then finally the skill component to lifting. So we kind of split everything up. First thing we're going to go over is just kind of how to set up a day where you're focusing on building your vertical. So the general warm-up I'd have someone do is starting with sled drags. Just doesn't have to be super heavy. This isn't something you should max out. It's just a warm-up, remember. So starting out with sled drags, where you pull backwards, just walking, not super fast ones, just walking, getting everything warm, all the connective tissue, some blood flowing. Next one is sled marches, just pushing forward. Again, in a walking pace, these aren't super fast. It's just a warm-up. The reason starting with sled stuff, it's very easy on the spine. It gets your entire body warm, and jumping is a full body movement. So it's important to get your full body warm. After that, I'd probably do some wheelbarrow or farmer's walks, I should say. Wheelbarrow walks are nice because you get they're a little easier on the hips. You can just kind of walk with them, but most people don't have like a giant wheelbarrow laying around their gym. So farmer's walks are great. You can use dumbbells. If you have farmer walk handles, it's even way, way better and preferable. But again, getting everything in your body warm, all the connective tissue prepared for what's happening next. And then last thing for the part of the general warm-up would be doing a shit ton of very light leg curls, preferably banded, very light bands. You just lay on the ground, band yourself, do a bunch of leg curls. Or if you have some ankle weights, that'd be easy too. Doesn't have to be super heavy. It should be around the 100 rep mark. Again, getting all the soft tissue around your knee prepared and warm, and it's great for injury prevention. Most people don't do enough hamstring stuff, so again, about 100 banded or ankle weighted leg curls. Pretty simple. It's the next part of the warm-up. It's a warm-up / skill development area. So before we start working out and lifting heavy weights, basically, is we're going to start with some knee jumps. So that's where you're on your knees and you jump up onto your feet. So for each of these following exercises, they're all variations of it. We'll be doing 3 sets of 3 reps. Decent amount of rest in between. You shouldn't be tiring yourself out yet. Again, this is a skill development portion. You shouldn't be exhausting yourself. So again, 3 sets of 3. So starting out just regular knee jumps from knees to feet. We're aiming for shooting for forward distance. It's almost like a broad jump. So really focus on your hips being explosive as possible. Shooting hips forward as you go. And again, first one, going for distance. From there, we're going to grab some light dumbbells. They might be 10, 15 pounds. If you're more advanced, you can go a little heavier. And we're going to do from the knees to our feet, but we're also going to do a clean with the dumbbells to the shoulders at the same time. So one movement. Don't worry about distance or anything with that, with this. We're just building skill. You don't have to worry about that portion of it. But focusing on perfect clean, everything should connect at the same time. When your feet land, you should be finishing the clean at the same time. More difficult than they look. They're not super hard. You shouldn't be going super heavy with them if you're just starting out. If you've never done this before, just start with some 2 or 3 pound ones. Just kind of figure it out and get the feel for it. After that, we're going to do, again, 3 knee jumps to feet onto a very small box. Again, the more skilled you are, the higher this box will be. For if you're just starting out, it might just be an inch high. It might be just jumping onto a plate or something. It could be 2 inches. I've seen people do up to a foot, which is pretty crazy. But start easy with these. Again, this is just skill development and warm-up. You shouldn't be hurting yourself. You shouldn't be exhausting yourself during this portion. And yeah, the one after that, we're going to be doing knees. This time, instead of landing with both feet flat, we're going to be landing in a split stance. So the way I like to do it is just kind of switch every time. So you want to do left foot forward once, then your right foot forward the second time, back to left foot. Next set, start with your right foot, go to your left. Pretty simple. So again, landing in a split, like the same place where you catch a jerk. Wide split stance, very powerful. You can hold there for a second and then come up. Again, 3 sets of 3. And the last one is, again, you're going to grab dumbbells again, and you're going to clean them as you jump into a split stance. So again, you're doing split stance again, but with dumbbells this time, into a clean. So everything, again, should land at the same time. You should be catching it on your shoulders at the exact same time your feet are landing. Both feet should land simultaneously. You shouldn't hear a bump. It should be one noise. Okay? Pretty simple. So the next portion of the day, we're working on building absolute strength. That's the next thing that comes. Basically one movement for this. The best absolute strength builder for hip strength, in my opinion, is a box squat with a wide stance. We're working on absolute strength. We're doing full range of motion with these, so hips should be at or below parallel slightly. So working for max weight here, basically. Go for PR when it's there. You should be doing very low reps, very high weight. If you're going Bulgarian style with this, not the best idea, but you should be going a couple of times a week with this, basically. It depends, again, where you are in your lifting career, in your athletic career, but a couple times a week at least with squats. If a PR is there, you should go for it, an absolute 1 rep max, but we should be mostly working between 1 and 5 reps, never any higher, really. 1 top set's enough. We're building absolute strength again, but at least 2 times a week, preferably 3, up to 5 even, for most athletes. So that's your main absolute strength developer for this particular, just for jumping. This isn't a general strength program. This isn't a general athleticism program. We're just focusing purely on building vertical strength, or vertical jumping power. So other days of the week we should be working on is reactive strength development. And this is more, you can think stretch reflex type stuff. So the main one for jumping is going to be quarter squatting. The thing you see all the idiots at the gym who, can't put their ego aside when they lift and, just go down a few inches and pop back up. This is where you're going to really overload your muscles, providing a very hard stimulus in your body. Supposed to be back squat. Prefer high bar with these, don't go low bar. High bar, quarter squatting, very, very heavy. You should be doing much more than you can possibly squat. Minimum 100 pounds heavier, and they should be 3 to 5 reps for multiple sets. Probably 8 sets here, 8 sets of 3 to 5, somewhere around there. Again, this all depends a little bit where you are in your athletic career, where you can handle. They should be very, very, very heavy. And then the other one is a half squat, which is just a slightly deeper version. So we're working slightly different ranges of motion. These are the 2 options you can have. You could alternate, you could focus on one until you kind of stall and then switch to a half squat. But these are the places you jump from. A full range of motion squat isn't going to have as much carryover as a quarter squat will to reactive strength. You don't jump from a full below parallel squat in basketball, so there's no really need to train the reactive strength from that position. Absolute strength, yes, is what we did before, but not reactive strength. So again, quarter squats, half squats, shouldn't be going to parallel. These should be very, very, very heavy. These can also be done bottoms up, but preferably we want to work on getting that stretch reflex in. And then the last one we're doing is explosive strength. So again, this should be a couple times a week. And here we're going to do weighted box jumps. So this could be using ankle weights. It could be using a vest, some small dumbbells. Could use a barbell. It's a little dangerous. It's a little hard to bail out of, but can be done if need be. And then these are some options. Obviously, the exercises you're choosing are based off weaknesses where you are. They should be rotated through. They can rotate through every couple of weeks. But next exercise is barbell jumps. So loading up about 30% of your 1 rep max back squat, like a full range of motion one. And we're doing jumps. So we're jumping from where you jump from normally with a barbell. Probably sets of 3. You don't need to go over 3 with any jumping movements ever. We're doing with barbell on your back, decent amount of weight, jumping. Pretty simple. 8 sets of 3 again. Also banded box squats. So these can be at parallel, can be quarter, can be half. We're banding these, really force you to push through the entire movement, not just in the bottom. Again, 8 sets of 3. Banded sumo deadlifts are great. We're building hip power. So banded sumos are great. And then in my opinion, probably one of the best movements is the banded Jefferson for building explosive jumping power. A lot of times in basketball and other sports, you're not jumping with your feet perfectly parallel together. So, or perpendicular, I should say. No, parallel, not perpendicular. That'd be bad. You're jumping with one foot slightly in front of the other, or whatever. You're jumping off one foot. So you should be training like that. So banded Jeffersons are great. They're really easy to set up banded, even if you only have one band, because you can just put a band over the middle of the barbell. Very, very easy to set up for. And again, you can push through the whole movement, being very, very explosive. These shouldn't be more than 80% of your max total weight, including the band at the top. So it should be about 60% of your max weight on the barbell, and then 20-ish% of your max should be at the top from the band. So you shouldn't be maxing these out. These are focusing on being explosive. And then accessories. This is where it really depends on where your weaknesses are, but some general ones everyone should be focusing on, especially for jumping in athletics, is single leg strength. So it'll be a lot of single leg movements, such as step-ups. Step-ups are great for jumping. You can use a barbell, you can use dumbbells, kettlebells, whatever, just some kind of jump up, or step-up, sorry. Lunges of every sort, with a barbell, dumbbell, etc. Bulgarian split squats, of course, I'm a big advocate of Bulgarian split squats. Everyone I train does them a couple times a week at least. Bulgarian split squats fix a lot of imbalances. They help with mobility. Great movement. Single leg deadlifts are great for building hamstring strength and for injury prevention. RDLs, again, hamstring strength, injury prevention. As used as accessory movements, they shouldn't be super duper heavy. They should be more higher reps, but focus more on intensity than just getting a certain amount of sets. And don't think 3 sets of 8. I did a whole video on accessory movements. Go hard until you can't use that muscle anymore, basically. Hamstring curls, of course, use machine, band. If you have a machine, if you can band the machine, that's even greater. Ball slams, really great movement for building jumping power, especially if you want to get good at doing jumping on the boxes. Ball slams are great if you get a slam ball. Smash the shit. Imagine someone who hates faces on the ground, just smash the shit out of it as hard as you possibly can. Tuck jumps are great. It's more of a skill developer, but it can also be a great accessory movement. Good mornings of all sorts, just regular. These should mostly be done standing if you're focusing on jumping. Just see a good mornings, not going to have a whole lot of carry over your jump. But standing good mornings with all sorts of barbells, cambered, SSB, regular, whatever. Stagger stance good mornings, because again, in most sports, you're not going to be jumping with your feet parallel to each other. Really great. You can focus on your weak leg more, etc. Single leg good mornings, similar to single leg deadlift, but just the weight's slightly different. Ab roller, because training your abs directly is very important, especially for athletes. There's kind of the thing a couple years ago where it was like, oh, squatting and deadlifting is enough for your abs, but especially for athletes, it's not. Got to directly work them. And then some Chinese arches, great for injury prevention and muscle activation and such. So, give this stuff a, add this in your training if you're a basketball player, if you need to increase your vertical for your sport. These are the things you should be doing. Let me know what you think. This is part 2 of this series. I'll keep doing them if you guys like them. It's something I have experience in, training athletes. So, let me know, guys. Give this stuff, incorporate it in your programming so you don't suck at basketball so much. Thanks, guys. I'm going to go eat a couple more steaks because, again, it's my birthday. So, yep. See you guys.